Hey y'all, it's JB here. I'm so excited for you to see this episode with my good friends David and Jill Olivarez. Man, after this show, they were so excited about the Radiant Resort properties and all they have to offer you, my audience, that they called me up and Davo said he's created a code for 10% off of any property bookings that you have through the end of 25 with Radiant Resort properties. You check them out. We throw the website up on the show, but it's 10% off. The code is JB10OFF, all caps. Now, Davo told me there's some blackout dates around July 4th, I think the week after, but don't blame me. Blame all them jabronis coming down here to the Emerald Coast to book. But at any rate, JB10OFF. That's an incredible savings to you and your family when you're coming to the Emerald Coast. Look up Radiant Resort Properties. Use code JB10OFF, 10% off from here until the end of 2025. Again, some blackout dates, but, don't blame me. Hey, hope you enjoy this show. I know you will. See you later.
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Yeah, we are back. I don't even know what episode. I'm not even going to say what episode these are. Do you know the episode this is?
I feel like.
It feels that way. I mean, it's getting up there, right? I mean, this year I think we're going to end up hitting 40 episodes this year. Maybe. Actually, it'll be more than that because we're going weekly.
So it should go to 60.
So yeah. Oh wow. In theory. I mean, we'll see. We'll have some duds that we'll throw away for sure. Yeah. But thank you so much for everybody that is watching. All of our subscribers, it means so much to us. I love getting your questions, your DMs. It is so much fun interacting with you all. I just did a career day the other day with the school, and so I know some of the high schoolers from South Walton. Shout out South Walton High School. Miss Bennett's class is where I was. You guys were rotating in there all day. It was so much fun speaking to you. Those of you that had your head down, whatever. I mean, I'm a big deal here. Yeah. I mean, I'm a paid professional speaker, like I told y'all. But we're just a $10 podcast. It is what it is. But so listen, thank you all those new subscribers. I flashed up a QR code for the school, and the kids, that's when they pulled their phone out and hit that QR code. It took them straight to the. I said, look, we might say something smart here. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I'm still waiting on my QR code business card that you got, and I don't have it.
Well, because I'm afraid to give it to you. I don't know what you'll do with it. I feel like you're going to put it up in the bathroom stall somewhere. like I just don't know what's going to happen. So I'm praying about it right now.
It'll be a 38 bathroom stall, though.
Hey, welcome to our Floorzz.com studio. I mean, look at the new sign with Floorzz.com. I don't know that I pointed that out the last time, but that's legit. I love this sign. Mike,
no floors wrong though.
It's FLOORZZ. Check them out. Anything you need Floorzz wise, they've got it. You got to tell them the jabroni sent you. They're going to treat you so much better. I mean, truth be known, they're going to treat you great whether you say our name or not. But I just want one day to walk into this shop and they say, "Hey, you sent us some business, jabronis." That's all I want. So call them up, tell them the jabroni sent you. They're going to take care of you. I'm excited about it. But anyway. Floorzz.com, check them out. They deliver everywhere, all across these United States of America. We haven't determined yet if they go to India or Japan or anything like that, right?
I mean, international, probably.
I mean, if you paid the shipping and the freight, certainly. And then the new tariff, for sure. But,
well, I think we got to pay India would have to pay the tariff.
Somebody's paying my tariffs, man.
Hey, no taxes, man. I like it.
I like it. Come on, baby. Our guests today are the great David and Jill Olivarez. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
Oh, wow.
Olivarez.
He normally gets it.
I try to roll my R. Olivarez.
It's really Olivarez.
Olivarez.
You said it the way I say it, which
Olivarez.
I say because I'm a white girl. His
Right.
was always like, that's the way the Weddas say it. I was like, well, he married one, so.
And when I drink tequila, come on, man.
Man, I'm super excited about this episode, getting to talk to you guys. David, is a friend. We call you Davo. Does everybody in business call you Davo, or is it David?
It's pretty much Davo, yeah. It was Dio for a while because everything was my initials.
Okay.
And just Davo stuck, and here we are. And it's a lot easier to say that.
Yeah, it feels disingenuous to call you David. It feels like Dave-O found authentic to me.
Texted Dave, and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, who's Dave?
Well, there's a lot of Daves out there, but there's only one Dave-O.
There's only one Dave-O. But Dave-O is one of our poker players. You guys, if you've been on the show, you know that Dave-O, that we talk about poker. Dave-O's a poker player and a good poker player. Thank you. Even though he comes home, I'm sure, spotless of money every time he comes back.
He's always fourth place. Is he always first out of
he's
money?
First. He's always the first loser.
This dude cleaned up a couple G's last year. Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah.
I played twice.
No. He's a scary individual to go all in against. I always like it when he's in front of me, so I know what he's done. Then I can determine what I'm going to do.
Yeah, he don't BS
always
a
better
so
position.
he's only got a pretty good hand.
These are among the finest compliments I've ever received. And I appreciate that so much.
Hey, don't tell anybody at the poker table. I'll never admit to what I just said at our poker table. None of those guys watch
this pod is one of the ones not airing, dude.
Are you kidding me? They don't watch this thing. Not to mention that the players at our table, as we've mentioned, are really good. They've already figured the three of us out. They know our game. I mean, I'm constantly trying to change things, but I don't know what to do sometimes. It's
the best poker table this side of the Destin Bridge, dude.
Oh, for sure. This side of the Mississippi, I would say. I'm going to this side of the Mississippi. You got to go out of Vegas to get this kind of competition.
We all need to roll to Biloxi and play in a tournament.
Drew and I were talking about that the other day. I know.
Couldn't do it with the schedule conflicts, but
we couldn't figure it out. But we've got to do it. But back on David and Jill, because I'm so excited about it. You guys have Radiant Resort Properties, and we're going to dive into everything short-term rental, everything vacation zone, Emerald Coast with you all. But before we do that, it is time to play What the Hell Do I Know with David and Jill Olivarez. You got to get that roll. There
I don't have that soundbite, bro.
You don't have that soundbite.
Yeah.
I know we should have had it, man, for sure. But the way we'll do this is 7 questions, rapid succession. I'm going to start with David first. I'm going to start, Jill. I'm going to start with you first. I'm going to do 1 through 4 to you.
Okay.
Then I'm going to do 4 again to you, then 5, 6, 7. So you'll each have 4 questions, but one of them is a double question. Does that make sense? I feel like y'all are smart enough to get it. Clock is on. All right. Number 1, to Jill. Mm-hmm. Who was your favorite teacher?
Oh, favorite teacher, probably Miss Doomer. She was also my swim coach in high school.
High school. Okay.
Yeah.
What subject she teach?
She was the yearbook teacher.
Did they teach you anything?
But she was my coach.
We got to move on. The clock's on. We're going back to that.
Yeah.
Number 2, did you have any pets growing up?
I did. I had a black lab named Lucky. We got her when I was 5, and she passed away when I was in college. So she was with us for a long time.
Long time. Yeah. All right. Very good. Lucky. Number 3, favorite spot to eat dinner at on the Emerald Coast?
Fat Clemenza's Italian.
Fat Clemenza's. Yeah. Nice. We haven't had that one thrown out. All right. Number 4, best gift that Dave-O has gotten for you?
That's a hard one.
Is that good or bad? I don't know where that is.
I mean, it's good because he gets me the things I ask for. So.
I like it. it. We can go with that. All right, Dave-O. Same question, but best gift that Jill has ever gotten you?
The fact that she puts up with me, I would say.
Oh, now he's just earning points sitting over here.
No, brother, it's the truth. I'm telling you, man.
I love it.
She has helped me in my life exponentially.
Very good. Very good. Number 5, what was your first car?
Oh, gosh. It was a Saturn.
Yes. That company's not even around.
No. It's a very safe car. I flipped it. It's a crazy story. But anyway, it had graffiti carved in the hood. It was bad. I bought it for $200 off my uncle. It was stick. I didn't know how to drive stick. I learned that.
You had to grind some gears, baby.
We stalled out on the train tracks, all the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Drive it like you stole it.
Number 6, favorite sport to play growing up?
Football. No doubt about it.
All right, what position you play?
I played left corner. Could not catch, so I was on defense.
On defense. I like it. All right. Number 7, best part of being a dad?
I think really it's just hanging out with the boys and just really enjoying time with them, and helping them with their sports and doing things with them outside, going on bike rides, all that fun stuff. It's just enjoying their childhood with them has been wonderful.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Give them applause. They're off the hot seat. There we are. Great job, y'all. You crushed it here. I want to know more about this teacher, yearbook. So you learned something in yearbook?
Well, no, she was just my coach, my swimming coach. So I swam in middle school, and then I swam all 4 years of high school.
Okay, what was your swim? What was your stroke?
So I mostly sprinted like 50 meters.
Yeah.
But the high school we went to wasn't great in athletics. So and I was pretty average good at everything.
I got
So
you.
towards the end, I was doing like the 200 IM, doing the 500 just because we needed somebody who was willing to do the distance.
What does a 200 IM mean?
Intramural, so it's all 4 strokes. So you
all
do
4.
Yeah, you do butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle to finish.
All right, cool, man. That sounds amazing. And so she was a yearbook teacher, and what did you carry over from a yearbook class?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know that I had her class. She was just my favorite teacher.
That's great. That's the kind I would probably like too. I had some really good ones.
Yearbook, but she was my coach, so all 4 years. So
I went to 2 years. I did at Jonesboro High School. Shout out the Cardinals. But and then I transferred to where our hometown was, where I met Danielle at Eagles Landing High School. None of this matters, you guys. It was outside of Atlanta, but at Jonesboro High School, one of the heroes of the school and in the trophy case was a guy named Steve Lundquist, who I think he was the butterfly stroke, won a gold medal in Olympics, but 70s or something like that. So there was a lake near our house called Lake Spivey, and he used to be seen swimming that lake, growing up as a kid. And, I mean, something pretty incredible to make the Olympics. I don't care at what era it is. You're the best in the world. And then to win a gold medal in it, I mean, you're the best in the world at that time in that position. And that's pretty. It's pretty amazing. So they definitely had a whole shrine in the trophy case, for him at the high school.
I can't even tell you who the best, high school person was at ours.
No, y'all didn't put out anybody. Jameson Winston? Did Jameson Winston? No, he didn't go there.
No, he's from Bessemer, Alabama. Lincoln or Baker. Lincoln had, I think, there's maybe Antonio Cromartie.
Okay.
But there had to be some guys that went to
Florida
Irwin
State. County? Was that Irwin County?
No, Leon County is Tallahassee.
Oh, Leon County.
So I did Lincoln freshman, sophomore, then Baker. I mean, can't think of anybody. I might be.
You're it. You're it on this $10 podcast. No, that's great.
Yo. TruNorth Pest Control. They are all over Central Florida, Georgia, and they just moved here to the Emerald Coast. I just switched my service over to them. You got to check them out. Tell them JB sent you. They'll take care of you. We are a bug-free podcast because of them. TruNorth Pest Control. Now back to the show.
But so I want to give you guys, I should have jumped right into this, but I want to give you guys maybe give us the kind of helicopter view of Radiant Resort Properties.
So we are short-term rental vacation management here on the Emerald Coast. We focus on condos.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave's had tons of experience in it, and we just decided to go out on our own.
Your focus on condos, though, your condos are kind of in position A. I mean, they are on the water, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're focused on condos that are right there on the water. And are your condos go from everything from maybe like a 1-bedroom to 3 or 4 bedrooms, or how do you? What would you say there?
The majority of our properties right now are 2 bedrooms, and we have a handful of 3 bedrooms. But yeah, they're either golf front or views of the water.
Wow, that's
right? Because
nice.
if you don't have a view of the water, there's nothing to differentiate yourself from the inventory that's out there. Right?
Sure. And so you've got 2 bedrooms. How many sleep in a 2-bedroom?
On average, 6. Comfortably, generally 4, depending on the unit. Some of the 2 bedrooms sleep up to 8 with bunks in the hallway, things like that. So there's some variety to it.
Which I think if our listeners are listening, if you're vacationing in this area, it is pretty common where they kind of cut in almost on the hallways.
Yeah.
These bunks.
Exactly.
That kids can kind of they've got a place to sleep, and then you still got your 2 bedrooms, which really allows you, it allows it to be so much more economical for families coming down, especially large families of, so we have a family of 5. Try when your friends call you and say, "Hey, I've got tickets to the hockey game. Do you want them?" "Sure, we'd love to have them." "How do you got 4?" It's always 4.
Yep.
Family of 5, it is so hard. And when we would buy tickets, if I was scalping tickets, I generally had to buy 4 tickets and then 2. So I'd have to buy 6 half the time. I could very rarely buy 5 tickets because nobody wants to. If they have 6, they're not selling you 5 and saying, "Well, now I just got the 1 extra." Yeah. So it's always dealing with that, and it's always a problem. So
maybe you and Danielle need to have another kid, man. I don't know.
Oh no, that ship has sailed a long time. There's a doctor in Atlanta that I'd like to have a conversation with if we were to have another kid.
Okay, gotcha.
He and I'm going to be talking.
I couldn't imagine being our age and having a young baby at home. Jeez.
What? Come on, man. Let's go, dude. I didn't have gray hairs a year ago. I know that.
How old is your child now?
16 months, dude.
16 months. So coming on 2 years.
Yeah. Well, Not really.
A year and a half.
Yeah, a year and 4 months.
She's just a baby.
Yeah.
so.
A year and 4 months.
That's true.
Yeah.
We just do poker math around here.
Yeah, poker math.
Normal
I
math.
round up.
I know. Well, people always
Get
ask me all
close
the time, and the other day I said the month. 16 months. The guy's like, "Oh, so she's 1." I'm like, "Yeah, but a lot happens between 1 and 2, bro."
That's the difference. That's my wife was sharing me. The reason why you go up to 2 in months is because every month is so much different.
Yeah,
What
very
they're
different.
learning at 16 months is going to be different at 17 and 18, et cetera. And then after they hit 2, the changes are less incremental.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think at 2, we're like, all right, she's 2.
Right. Then it's 2, then 3, then
4.
4. Yeah.
But yeah, because they started walking. She was 13 months walking.
Now, how old are your kids? You guys have some kids too.
Yeah, so our oldest is 12, and our youngest will be 10 in April. So.
Oh, wow. 12 and 10.
And the oldest, Pete, was not wearing a Detroit Lions jersey the other day when I saw him.
No, he is an avid Chiefs fan.
He's an avid Mahomes
Is he
fan.
a Taylor Swift fan?
No.
No.
That's weird.
Boy. We love Taylor. We love Taylor Swift here.
Whoa. On
She's
that
my
side of the
girl.
room.
She's my girl, man. All my kids love Taylor Swift, so I'm in Taylor Swift. I'm a girl dad.
I do not like Taylor
You're not
Swift.
in?
I'm not in on that.
I'm a girl dad. I'm in. I'm in on Taylor. So, you gave us to the Radiant properties. It's you've got all these properties. I love how you have the 2 bedrooms and you have some that can flex into that larger family, which is great, especially if you have that like me, a family of 5. And then you've got a few that are coming in, I guess 3 bedrooms as well too. So those would sleep probably. Those are the ones that sleep probably 8 or
some sleep up there.
for sure.
Yeah.
And these folks can when they're on, if they have a Gulf view, how do they get into the beach? I mean,
So the nice thing is with the condo buildings, most of them have access that's associated with it.
Okay.
So not all of them, like Amalfi Coast, but the access is right across. It's a public beach access right across.
So every
but
condo
they literally can just walk across to that. But like beach houses, Gulf front, so their beach is the beach that's right behind them.
Which is a huge thing that you need to understand when you're renting down here on the Emerald Coast is that beach access isn't necessarily guaranteed.
It's a limited supply, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so having a vacation company, rental company like you guys with Radiant Resort Properties, you're ensuring that they have access to the beach when they rent one of the places that you're representing.
No doubt about it. We want to represent it if it didn't.
Right.
And that's really important.
There's
to
certain
us.
qualities that you're looking for in a unit that you bring on into your company.
Without a doubt. There's probably twice as many units we turn down as to the ones we've taken, and that's because we are in the business of being selective with it. We want to make sure we're getting the best stuff for our guests and making sure it's an agreeable partnership that makes sense for everybody. So having that highly sought after product makes everything great.
That's right. No, for sure. Well, I agree with you. There was a time where we were talking and, we built a house on the bay and I was building it to sell. And then, the economy started turning. I said, okay, we're going to rent this. And I was talking to Davo and he's like, you're not asking me to manage it because we won't. It's too far away from the beach.
Can't touch it, bro.
It's on the bay. It's got a different clientele than what we are.
Yeah.
So I know you definitely, which I wasn't. I just was looking for feedback. But,
Sure.
but I know that there is a certain clientele that you guys are going after. And these are the families that have saved their hard-earned money, that want to be on the beach, that their game is they want to be on the beach. They want to go down an elevator, walk out to the beach. Maybe they have chairs, maybe they're renting chairs, but they're the ones that get out there at 9, 10 o'clock and they are beaching it
all day,
right? And
Yeah.
they might even the luxury of is they can come back, have lunch.
Yep.
They can go back out there, then they get cleaned up and they go out to dinner that night. That is I feel like that's like everybody's plan that rents a condo on the beach, right?
Without a doubt.
Right.
Yeah. And having that simplicity, even in your tone when you're describing it, it's like a peacefulness.
100%.
Because you got everything taken care of.
You just let the water soothe away your troubles, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there is some. I've told my wife this that there's very few places on this world that I want to live but I need to see. I feel like I need to have water in my view.
Oh yeah,
There's something calming about water.
God's way is natural. Like you should be around it.
100%.
Your feet should be in the sand every day. It balances you.
When you step out, and I know our viewers that are watching this, I'd love to hear your take on this. But I know when I've had the opportunity to rent places on the water, and you step out on that balcony, and you just smell that ocean and that salt water, and you can hear the waves hitting. There is something about it. Like early in the morning, before the kids get up, you get your coffee and you sit out on that balcony. Watch the sunrise.
The vastness of it, right? So like any body of water, I mean, it's so vast, and it's a reminder that whatever we're going through or whatever we escaped from is so little compared to like what's really out there in the world, right? Like there's so much to that. So like you can't even see the end of it. There could be so much going on and you're not even aware of it. And so like it brings a little bit of introspection to
maybe
life.
how small we are. How small your problems could be. That's an interesting take on it, Jill. I like that. So I want to switch gears a little bit. I mean, we're going to keep talking about Radiant resort properties, but Davo, you're an incredible gambler. I know this about being on poker. Incredible gambler. No, you are. You are, because I know this because you play poker.
He beats my ass at DraftKings.
You do DraftKings. I know you even were on a pod. You were telling me one time about I guess.
Well, it was for fantasy football. So I've kind of had this in my mind. You can kind of do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
Right? And I, in my life, anytime I've wanted to do something, really wanted to do something, I've gone out and achieved it. And I decided, hey, I want to be good at fantasy football. So I started playing it, really enjoyed it, really started studying it, spending tons of time on it every week. And I thought, well, I should put out an article. I should do some kind of content because I'm doing the research anyway. So I got a paid writing gig, and they had a podcast they were doing. So I jumped on that and did that for a couple seasons, and those were all live podcasts. People would call in. It was pretty wild. It was pretty wild. First foray into podcasting, recording my voice in any capacity. It was really kind of nerve-wracking at first, but it's something I was really passionate about, really enjoyed doing. I've since retired from doing that, but
nice.
It was a good little fun thing to do, So that evolved into really liking DraftKings and daily fantasy sports, things like that.
So you still heavy into like the fantasy football stuff?
I still play.
How many teams you playing?
How many leagues am I in?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know, man.
A lot?
It used to be like a lot. Now it's like 6.
So
we're cutting down.
It feels like a lot.
Down.
I was panicking with 2.
What is the best punishment for losing fantasy football league that you've seen?
I really like the Waffle House punishment, where you get locked in a Waffle House for 24 hours.
Yeah. 24 hours.
24 hours.
What does that mean?
Well, it's 24 hours or 24 waffles.
Right. So every waffle you consume cuts an hour off your time, and then you're free to go.
I feel like I could do 24 waffles. Do you think that's pretty hard?
I don't know how much are you good at fighting.
Kidding me? 24 waffles?
Before 24 hours.
24 Waffle House.
You don't know?
You would blow your crap out, dude.
What, you can't leave the table?
You can't leave the restaurant.
Can't leave the place, yeah.
Oh, well, then you got to go to their restaurant.
A lot.
So that's a pretty good one. I've told the story before. We were skiing in Vail or something like that, and like mid-mountain, there's a lot of different trails come back in, a lot of runs will come back into the restaurant right there a lot of times at mid-mountain. And we were there and sitting with my kids, and it's always a little awkward clogging around and getting your food and all that, but we were sitting down finally getting lunch, and you look over and there's this young guy coming in like Speedo and goggles, and he had to eat his lunch, and on it was like, I suck at fantasy football. It's like written into his bare chest. So,
oh my gosh.
So that was a pretty good one.
They get pretty rough out there, yeah.
They can get pretty bad. No, but you are a great poker player. I mean, I know, and what I know about you too is that you are constantly diving into poker percentages when you're at the table.
Yeah.
So you're looking at your card, trying to figure out other people's cards, and you're constantly looking at percentages.
Right, nonstop. And it takes away some of the social aspect of it, because I'm sitting there doing so much math. And
right.
And it's gotten to be sort of second nature at this point.
Sure, right. At some point you get, and I understand this. I understand this thought process, because at some point you get to like, you just kind of know. It's like playing blackjack. If you understand the book on blackjack, you just know.
100%.
You know when you hit, you know when you stay, you know.
And it's from just years of playing millions of hands. I was that kid back when Chris Moneymaker won his. I was the guy that carried a chip case with him everywhere he went. If a game was breaking out, I'm in. We play. And then online poker became big, and I was the guy with the big screen and the quad box doing 4 games at once, just doing
Holy
all that.
Cow.
And just running through it. There was, when I first moved here to Destin, I would spend my evenings, because I didn't really know anybody, all my friends had moved away and whatnot. I spent my evenings just running tournaments after tournaments after tournaments. And, I'd say to my brother before he'd go, because we were roommates at the time, I'd say to my brother, hey, if I'm still sitting here when you wake up in the morning, that's a really good thing, and just rock those out, and that was the heyday. Everything got kind of clamped down. And
yeah, it did. That was heyday.
Down.
Yeah, online poker isn't the same when you can't put money into it, because there's just no point. I mean, if there's not money on the line, the decisions people make they can be whatever they want, right? It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
They're not really thinking through their decisions, which gives you sometimes a false sense of security. They're going all in, and you should never do this.
No,
but
never.
it's not their money, right? It's just fake money then. But what made you decide, and you two as together, that, I mean, Jill, do you have a gambling side to you? Because you two went all in an aspect into this Radiant Resort Park. What made you kind of go all into the short-term rental here at the Emerald Coast?
So no, I mean, like, gambling in the sense of like poker, like Dave's taught me everything I know about poker. So I'm not a big like gambler in that sense, but I grew up, my dad is an attorney, but he was self-employed. He had his own little practice. So, and then when I came down here, I went into real estate. And so I've kind of constantly been in this entrepreneurial type situation. I helped another friend of ours who was launching something in the financial sector. So for me, when Dave was in a job and he wasn't really thriving in it and he wasn't happy, I was like, well, why don't we just do something? Because we can.
100%.
Like, anybody can do anything.
Greatest
right?
country. This is still the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
America.
I mean, make your plan and go for it.
All right, we need an eagle now. I need to go, ha ha, or get a hawk or whatever, like an eagle chirp.
Well, it needs to be a bald eagle, right?
Yeah.
We need the bald eagle.
Or just
gotta be the bald
America. Yeah.
Calm down.
I'm looking forward to hearing that, Juice.
All right.
Whenever it comes out.
But you're correct. It's such a great, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
You can take that risk here in
we
this
just
country.
see a lot of people who are like unhappy and they feel stuck, but you're only stuck if you allow yourself to be stuck.
Ooh, that's brilliant.
So, I mean, I think that if you are unhappy in a situation, you look at what can you do. And so he was unhappy, and I was like, well, let's do something different. And we kind of went through different things, like maybe we just get a new job and we move away, or all the things. But we just went through the no, we like living here. We like raising our kids here. You have all of this experience in the industry. I mean, he was 15 plus years in. I've been selling real estate here for 10,
right?
Over 10. And so we're like, let's just give it a try. We'll see what happens.
I will add to that, her risk level has gone through the roof since we started on this venture. And we were very prayerful about it. I took a sabbatical.
It's measured, right?
Very much so. And really during that sabbatical, took some interviews and, had some good offers. But at the end of the day, it was always going to lead to the same spot. And if you're ever going to change anything, you really got to step out in faith and do something big and really, really try to reinvent things and make things the way that you feel they ought to be. And that's what we've done with Radiant. And by God's grace, Jill's been with me through every step of the way. My skin's thick. I'll go down to one chip. I'll sit there.
Yeah,
and
I've seen him do this. I've seen him do this.
But sweet Jill has had to learn that throughout the course of the last 3 years. But it's been a fantastic learning curve, and honestly, we complement each other very well in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you start a business, and why a lot of people don't is because it's a change to your current lifestyle, and we are creatures of familiar.
Habit for sure.
Of comfort. Though,
comfort,
really of comfort. And so when you're stepping out, there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of sacrifice you have to be willing to make. Because
you gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
It's never going to go exactly the way that you think it's
right.
going to go.
That's right.
So even in this, we put out a plan, and we had all these goals, and we were like, surely we will hit them, and we'll hit them on this time frame. And
no problem.
No, I mean, it has taken a lot longer than we thought it would, but there is a level of, with our faith, we can see God's hands print in it. We wouldn't have been able to take on, if it had come the way we wanted it to,
sure,
it probably would have overwhelmed us. But there's been this measured little by little that allows us to grow in a way that is sustainable.
Sometimes I think that is the faithfulness of God, is that you're figuring it, sometimes it is Him giving you the ability to sit back and see what, make a plan and the process and figuring it out and how to come through it. When I was doing the career day, there's this young girl that was taking me around to go to the classroom where I was from, I guess, the media center. She's a freshman, and I just asked her how her year was going. She goes, I'm just so overwhelmed with all the stuff that they're throwing at me in all these classes. And I said, well, how do you eat an elephant? She was like, I don't know. I was like, one bite at a time.
That's right.
You just have to start. And I love what you said, is that you guys put a plan together, and you had all of these places where you thought you might be, and some of them you probably have surpassed, some of them you haven't, and you figured it out. But that's the beauty, is you have to have a plan, right?
Right.
And that's how you can measure and pivot and make adjustments.
Yeah.
And so many people don't do a plan. It's the number one thing I don't understand, whether it's in your personal life or in business. You got to have a plan, folks. You got to have a plan. You've got to plan it out. Danielle and I've been doing this, this in fact, Monday. So we're shooting, by the time this comes out, our anniversary will have happened, but 24 years of marriage will be Monday. We've been together 30 years, and every year we do a plan. So we try to look out, like, where do we want to be? What are the things we want to see happen? Where do we think they're going to be? And it doesn't mean you're going to hit it, but you have no goals or targets if you don't have something down. Yeah. So great points, by the way, David. I now know where you get your thinking from. She's definitely influenced you for sure.
I'm trying.
So, what does customer service mean to you guys? Because I just feel like, I tell people all the time, it's the lost art of customer service, right? I know that's something big for you all. Davo's been at the house before, and we've talked about it. I remember one time you had this one review, and you're like so frustrated about it that time, and you wanted to make sure everything was right. And I know that's so important for you, your name and all that. Tell me, like, what does that mean to you guys?
Well, you talk about your name, and I learned early on that you need to guard your reputation with your life. I mean, it's so very important to gain a good reputation for doing good work, and then protect that. And so, with regards to everything that goes into customer service and hospitality, and it's really anticipating your guests' needs and looking at things from their perspective so that they should not go wanting at any point during their stay. Then when they walk in, that place better be perfect. Nice. If it's not perfect, they need to be able to tell that someone damn sure tried.
Right.
And that's really the effort that we put into it each and every day with Radiant and how we approach things. We look at everything as a partnership with our homeowners, so we give them the customer service as well that they deserve. I've heard the horror stories.
Well, that's right, because you have to have customer service on the front end and the back end, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
For sure.
And so often, I have homeowners that'll call looking to switch to us, and they say they're calling their current management company, and every time they call in, they can't get the same person on the phone or get someone to even answer the phone, which is mind-blowing.
Crazy,
it's
right?
insane to me. You need
That's
to dive
the number one
phone.
thing we used to do in business is answer the phone.
Oh, yeah.
I was tracking if we were missing calls. We were tracking, and we were in customer service in the sanitation industry. So you wouldn't believe people would call for the sanitation, but it rings. The phone rings in that business. And I could tell you crazy stories about that when we had it. But, I mean, every person that was on our customer service team was answering somewhere between 120 to 150 calls a day.
That's fantastic.
Jeez. And so, but it was so important for us to answer the phones so that people felt like they could, that they had somebody to talk to that could hear whatever, whether it's a new sign up to a complaint to a question about their service.
Sure. Yeah. And those complaints, too, I've, in years past and just through my experience, you can take that guest who's complaining and you can have them walk out the door with a discount and you'll never see him again, or you can turn him into a customer and an advocate for life.
Heck yeah, you
can.
And
when you can do that second move, that's when you're really transcending customer service and you're taking it to the next level.
Well,
that's brilliant. I can't believe Davo just said something that was brilliant. I thought it was all going to be Jill, and then here he goes surprising me.
Well, he gets a lot of customer complaints, so he's gotten very good at dealing with them.
I will say to that, I don't anymore.
Not anymore.
Because
it is old job.
Radiant, but in previous stops, oh my Lord.
Well, you had to get good there, right?
Yeah, he got really good, tough at the other
I talk about running 4-screen poker. It was like running 4-screen customer
Oh,
complaint.
yeah.
Because you were like the head dude, too. The complaint stopped with him, so they worked their way up to get to Dave.
I always felt like
he's a little robotic, actually. He had what he was going to say because it just came up so often.
I like to say I was ice cold, not robotic. I was
Well, I always found when I was dealing with some customer that I felt could be difficult, part of the time is just give in. Like if I can take away their thunder, if I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
We messed up. This is how I'm going to fix it. This is what I want to do. Whether I was right or wrong or not. That was the thing.
That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah,
100%. I'll never. So in our business, our drivers, because we wanted them to report as they would, have a stop and you'd pick it up, they'd check it off, and if there wasn't a can out, they'd put like an NO or something for not out, and we'd have route books that would come in at the end of every day. So then the next few days would be when those customers on those routes would call in if they weren't picked up. And the number one thing is they would say, y'all missed my trash service, and they almost immediately, if they knew the game, would say, and I had it out the night before. And so that was always the thing, right? And we would, sometimes you get that customer service rep, they would go back to the book and they go, well, the driver says it was not out at 8:45 a.m., and they would get into this like almost like a small time attorney and wanting to like almost shame the customer. And occasionally that would rise to a level of the next management if they really held their ground. And I think they would always think if I got on the phone that I was going to support them. I certainly supported all of our customer service reps, but not against the customer. Right. I would just get on the phone and be like, I don't know why they said that. I looked at the book. They were looking at the wrong mark. You were missed. We're coming right out to get you. I mean,
well, it's kind of like what you teach us. Do you want to be right, or do you want to find a solution?
Well,
and so, like, if you're digging in and you're like saying, "No, we had it perfect," or, but two, people just want to feel seen and heard. And so, if they're calling in, just having an acknowledgement of like, I mean, if you've taken the time to call in, then it clearly was important to you, and for whatever reason, we're just sorry. Like,
we just need to figure it out.
Maybe we can't, like for us, sometimes it's like maybe we can't actually fix it for you if it's something that the owner has to order or like a project comes up at the building or something.
Or something big, they're
like,
cleaning the windows out front of your...
It's outside of our control, but we certainly recognize like we're sorry that bothered you or impacted you, and we'll try to communicate more better.
That's right. Well, you want to get transparent with customers. I mean, you don't know when things are happening all this at any time in the building. Sometimes you get advance notice and sometimes you don't.
Right.
And so they can show up and it's the window washing and it happened to be their week. I saw that there was a friend of ours that had a rental company one time and the customer was so upset because that week they were washing the windows in front of their condo. And it was like, I don't know what to, I mean, they told me they were washing windows, but like, what bad luck, that they were washing them during your week, and of course it wasn't the whole week. It just happened to be.
I feel like the sad part with society these days too is people call to complain just to get discounts on stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
I feel like that's pretty common as well.
For sure, it can happen.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you guys do though? When you were Davo, you were saying how you try to really make the condo prepared. I mean, do you run a checklist? Do you have certain things you like these 10 things, 20 things, whatever? What are some of the things you do?
Well, you're absolutely right. We do have a checklist, and we just run it through an app, essentially. And it's like, I need photographs of X, Y, and Z. So anybody that's inspecting the property can get that done, and we'll have a record of it. But you use the right word, is prepare. It's not enough to just inspect a property. You need to prepare that property for your guest's arrival, and they'll know that you did do that. It's the little things that come into play, like, I don't know, clean the remotes, things like that. Everything that gets overlooked, you need to be the one to catch that. You need to be on top of these things. And it really generates a fantastic product. And we've had a great reception from all of our guests thus far.
Well, and you're avoiding problems before they even arise, right?
And let's be honest, selfishly, that's the core of why you do it. Because
100%.
You want your phone to ring when you got new business coming in, not because you didn't, get the window or something like that.
100%.
You want to make sure that everything is tight, right, so the guest should want for nothing.
We used to have a manager in our location, and he always felt like he was like a firefighter. He's constantly putting out fires. And I just told him one time, I said, brother, you got to stop being a firefighter. He's like, well, I know what I'm doing. I'm just got to get into it. I said, no. You got to start being like Smokey the Bear. And you got to be a forest fire preventer.
100%.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, too many people are reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how unproductive that is. Like,
but that translates to every business, too.
Yeah, no,
it
does.
Yeah.
Like, in general.
That's what would annoy me having all those high school and college employees. That would drive me crazy. It's like, guys, if we could stop it before it happens, we're saving so much time and effort.
Exactly.
I had a saying for those youngins, and maybe any youngins listening should hear this.
Sure.
Just try a little bit. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed how hard it takes.
Proactive is the word of the day.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, you just can't go through life willy-nilly on anything. And so if you want to get ahead, you've got to take initiative for sure. Jill, you said something earlier that Davo wasn't happy in his job, and you're like, well, we've got to change it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that old adage, like, what's the definition of insanity?
Just doing the
same thing over and over again, expect a different result, and you're not going to get it, right? So that's super important. So what are you mentioned you guys are very particular on the units you will take on. So owner has a unit and calls you. What are the checklists for that unit? There's probably people looking here that's saying I would love to own something which, if they would like to own a place, it sounds like they could give you guys a call if they're looking for something, or are you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my real estate license.
Right. That's what I was going to say. You could totally like gear them into what would be an A++ property to give them the return for on their money. Mm-hmm. But what are the criteria that you look for?
Well, so in giving a high level of service like we give, logistics are really important. So right now we're really heavily concentrated in this Miramar Beach corridor right here on Scenic Gulf Drive. And so that's kind of number one. Number two, we're looking for that front row, front tier, right on the beach, ideally, if not very, very close with a great view, just to qualify to get in for what our client base is looking for, with something with a spectacular view. That radiant Gulf of Mexico. That's what they're looking for.
Radiant Gulf of Mexico, radiant. Now I understand Radiant Resort Properties, radiant
that's where the name came from.
Mexico.
I think Jill's got a little more insight on that as well. But regarding the next thing about the partnerships, as we call them and refer to them, and really truly think of them as, how's the fit with that homeowner? What are their expectations? Because
that's good.
We aim to go in and exceed expectations.
Yeah, what's that litmus test? Have you talked to somebody you're like, I'll never please this person?
Yes.
That happens, right?
Without a doubt.
You get that person on the phone and you're like, this may not.
This is going to be hard.
I need my mental health.
Yeah.
Well, then at the same time, I'll have that person and I'll say, if anybody can help this person, it's me. And I'll say, challenge accepted, and we'll go from there. And so,
of course,
there's a balance to it. It's got to be the right fit, though, more than anything. If we wanted to work with things that were going to be headaches and things that weren't going to rent well, then we probably wouldn't have opened up shop. We would go a different route with it. So, but it's that selectiveness has given us a strong advantage in the market, we feel.
I think it has. I know that your properties look great. I mean, you pulled up their website a second ago, didn't you, Juice? You had the website.
I don't know how. What's their Facebook page? Yeah,
that's some great. But it's a phantom page.
Can anybody else advertise all their condos have Gulf views though? I mean, that's kind of rare as far as
I think that is very
company.
rare.
I think that we have a lot of companies in town that just take whatever comes to them.
Well, yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
Right? And so, and that's not, if you've built your model for that and that works, but for us, we're a startup and it's literally Dave and I running it right now.
Right.
We have housekeepers.
Sure.
We have people that we call
maintenance,
to help,
all that stuff.
all that. Yeah. But in terms of like being a point of contact, being boots on ground, it's us. And so part of our selectiveness is that we view it as a partnership. And so it's more than just, we're getting your condo and we're here to help you do the best you can. But it has to benefit us too, because otherwise it's taking time away from our kids.
100%.
It's taking a slot off of our number of properties that
100%
we can actually manage well, right? Like with just the two of us, we're not going to be a 600 property company, just two of us. Now we might grow and add, but like right now it's the two of us. So if we're taking you on, we have to know that it's going to make sense. So
I seen David cleaning up diapers, dude.
What I love about this page, when you go to the Radiant, and we're going to throw your page up there too,
RadiantResortProperties.com.
RadiantResortProperties.com. When you go to the page, you're going to see on almost, in fact, I'm looking at this right now, you're seeing that blue sky and that water.
Yeah, you see the water in every shot.
In every shot you're seeing water. That is significant. Yeah. That to me is sexy. It's like, it really says vacation. I want to be there. I want to check it out. I love how selective you guys are. So there is a litmus test. The thing is what I'm hearing from you is this partnership with them is they're trusting you with an asset, right?
No doubt. Right.
And so it's not just about giving them a return, but it's also protecting that asset.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
When something goes wrong with it, you're fixing it.
Yeah.
It's not like you just put a Band-Aid on it.
No.
Do you have homeowners that, when you meet with them, you talk with them, you tell them, hey, they're in a great location, but you walk in and you're like, but this furniture's not going to work, or we need to move some things around, or we need to maybe change out the flooring, or do you ever have that sort of thing? If you want to maximize, do you kind of give them that consultation, and how's the response been?
We definitely do, and it's the response is 50-50. It depends on who you're talking with. We've had one homeowner who's Jill's helped them with an entire remodel and redecoration of their property, and it's rocking and rolling. It's one of our best properties on the beach right now. Really, if it's a beachfront condo, you can just about work with most things and get things where they need to be.
Right.
I always like to tell homeowners, let's get you a season under your belt. Let's make you some money, and then we can talk about swatching out that couch or getting a new table or a new coat of paint on the wall, something like that.
Right.
But let's prove it first. Let's show you what we got for you. let's fuel this fire and let's make this thing great.
And that means so much. I mean, you guys know, and Jill, you may not know this, Dave, I'm sure I've talked about this, but I have a number of properties that I rent. All of mine are long-term for the most part, but around Atlanta. And then I used to have 2 complexes. I only have one now that's in Athens, so go Dogs. But and so I'm constantly renting out. But dealing with that, when you have, and I have managers that I work with because I don't live there that help manage my properties. But it is refreshing, and I've got some great people. So shout out College Town Properties and Joe Chapman over at Chapman Group Realty.
What?
Yeah, for sure. But those guys really take care of me. But it's so refreshing when it's I want to do the absolute best job for you. I want to make sure that I'm not abusing, because you could easily, say, well, we've got to replace floors or we've got to do that, but what's the right thing to do at the right cost for my client on that back end or that owner?
Exactly.
And as an owner, that's refreshing when you have somebody thinking about it that way.
What's best for all parties involved.
That's right.
And communicate.
That's right.
In today's day and age, and that's what's really helped Radiant become a thing is the technological advancements, both in our industry and as a whole. It's not hard to reach somebody these days. So text the owner. Just say, hey, I got this going on. Here's what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts? And you got it solved in an hour. You don't have to go back and email and do all this stuff. Just get a hold of them.
Right. It's 21st century. Right. Texting works
For
great, right?
sakes. I do want to add one thing about, you mentioned all the beautiful photos and the shots. It's so important to have outstanding photography.
That's right.
Agree more.
Got to have, and we've got the best photographer around.
It's probably not.
It matters, dude.
Is it? It's not 850.
It's probably the most important part. It's probably more important than the management. I'll agree.
They are great photos, Juice.
Thank you. Yeah,
I didn't even think that you were the one shooting them, and here I am, like giving you this underhanded compliment.
Better be me, dude. If I find out somebody else shot them.
Oh, there's a couple of them I'm seeing there that look like they might have been. I know the other guy. He's number 2. You're number 1. He's
this one right here we shot for Cindy Cole. He got that one on the rental program. That's a beautiful. Totally remodeled that one.
You shot that one so well. I get so many messages that say, "Hey, when's the real furniture getting delivered?"
Yeah,
because it's obviously AI.
Yeah, they ask us if it's AI,
and it's real furniture though.
That's the actual.
That's great.
Yeah, but we've had multiple.
That's
people.
great.
They did a crazy job of remodeling that one though.
You do need good photography. That is part of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every single advertisement in this world is designed around how to avoid pain or have pleasure, right? 100%. So yours is the exact same way. This is to come to the Emerald Coast, come to Miramar Beach, and get some pleasure out of it.
Yeah,
that's right,
and some enjoyment, right? Mm-hmm. Some of my best memories with my children are the trips that I've taken. I mean, I have great memories with them playing sports, and we have great memories certainly here
Lance
in our home. Yeah, we have all kinds of great memories. But the trips that I do with my kids are, I mean, Danielle and we are protective of those trips. We love them. We love that time, and we set it aside. I can remember one time we went to Cabo, and we had this beautiful house just outside of Cabo. Not quite on the water, but it was a gorgeous house on a cliff that looked down at the water, and the concierge sent us to fishing. My son loves to fish, and so he said, hey, we recommend this guy to fish. It's right down below you. And I remember we went down there, and it was all these locals. It didn't feel very resort friendly where we were headed, and they took us out on like a rowboat. But the waves, like we were worried because it looked stormy, and so we were going over waves from the beach. We were going over waves that were, I mean, probably 5 feet, 6 feet swells. And he would hit it just right, and the nose would kind of go. He's getting us up there. We finally get to the boat, and we get on the boat. And they had like a lawn chair, like bolted down as the fishing chair in the center of the deal, and it was sketchy. And the swells were still pretty high out there. And we're the only boat in the Cabo, the Sea of Cortez right there at Cabo. We're the only boat there. And my son, he will boat, traditionally he will fish in like the worst weather possible. And he doesn't care because he loves to fish. Mm-hmm. But we were on this thing for about 40 minutes, and they're trolling to take us out there. I mean, it's left to right, left, right. I mean, we were rocking hard.
Jeez.
And everybody's up. I think I get up in the tower, and again, we had more lawn chairs in the tower, and it's just, this thing's duct taped together. It's so bad. finally my son comes up and he goes, yeah, I'm not feeling well. We can just turn back. This is not a good trip.
Yeah.
And so I went to the captain, who didn't speak great English, but he turns us back around and puts us onto the rowboat, comes out and gets us. And I mean, when we come up onto the sand, they're like throwing the logs down so it rolls further as we come in. It's so bad. And the guy goes, you guys aren't very good at the ocean. I'm like, no, we really are boaters. But we were the only boats out there in like 7-8 foot swells. I don't even think this boat should have been out there. And I was forced with the decision then, because I said, well, how much do I owe you since we weren't out there? He's like, the full freight. And I looked around. I thought, I don't think I know anybody here. So I just paid him his full freight.
That's right.
And I went back in. But, the concierge really kind of was frustrated with them, because I said, you recommended these guys.
Yeah.
So what is it? I mean, what do you guys recommend here? I know you're not recommending the guy at the lawn chair out in the ocean to do it. And I know you're vetting the folks that you want to recommend. But if somebody wants to have a magical vacation here on the Emerald Coast in Miramar Beach, Florida, in this white sugar sand, crystal clear water, aside from telling them, here's the beach, what are some of the things you guys recommend or work with them to make the vacation?
Yeah, we wait to see what we get asked if we can, right? So like I don't fish. Dave fishes every now and then, but not
I used to, then we opened a business.
His boy fishes.
So, we'll give advice on things that we can, and what we just tend to tell them what we like here. I mean, we live here, right? They came because they want to experience it. And so like, especially with so much stuff online, like a lot of people do their own research, so they're going to find all the popular hot spots, out on 30A or the walls for their Instagram photos or whatever.
Right.
But typically if somebody's reaching out and asking, it's because they're kind of looking for like, what's the hole in the wall, or where do the locals go?
Yeah.
Don't tell them that.
We keep those on a secret.
Don't tell them that.
I have list A and list B.
Restaurant list.
We don't just like offer it up, but if asked. So yeah, I mean, but to your point, like most of our people they're coming for the beach.
100%,
so oftentimes, like they're just looking for like, where would you eat? Like, which we know well.
Restaurants are the big one, right?
Yeah,
4 months out of the year don't matter. All the hole in the walls 4 months of the year are packed. Like everywhere's packed.
Everywhere's packed. It really doesn't matter. I always kid people.
The off seasons we're like, whoa.
I know. I always kid because I say I have a list A and a list B. Yeah. So like if I really know you well, I'll give you list A. If you're just asking, I'll give you list B. But really, they're all packed. There's just no hiding the restaurants here. And you're right. I mean, social media. It's during season they're all packed. So the tip I would give you if you're coming down here is to make reservations where you can. Make them early. Make reservations. Danielle, we do a date night every Friday night, and I'd say starting at about March or April, she starts making reservations for us months in advance. So we have Friday night date night reservations for whatever restaurants we want to. We just kind of rotate through them so that we don't get left out during those high seasons. In fact, some of our friends will know that, and they'll be like, hey, you got anybody going with you on Friday? You got a table of 4?
JB's one of those guys that makes them at like 4 restaurants.
Yeah.
And then
No, I picked the one. I picked the one. I picked the one. That's what I do. But no, that's pretty interesting. For the most part, people really are looking for places to eat. I mean, I guess not so much excursion-wise.
How to get paddle boards, probably stuff like that.
What are one of your favorite excursions? If somebody says, like, what is a great thing to do with family, what are some of the ones you throw out there?
Yeah, I mean, like when my families come in, we have young kids, so we take them to do those dolphin cruises out of the harbor.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit older, we might say you might enjoy Crab Island.
Crab Island, boys. Juice Island.
But yeah, I mean, this area, it's really, you're coming to the beach, you might shop. There's tons of shopping options, right, with the outlets and then Grand Boulevard. And but
all down 30A. I mean,
you can go
if you want to venture that way.
Right. Yeah, it just kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Sure.
And so, but the main attraction is the beach. So they're going to go to the beach. They want to know, like, it's, more popular now is like, are we getting beach chairs? Is there sandcastle building has become really big thing, right? Like things to entertain them while they're at the beach. So paddle boarding. Does the complex have paddle boards, or is there somebody who'll rent the paddle boards? 30A is really big on biking, and I think it's starting to kind of make its way on scenic here in Miramar Beach. So renting
the e-bikes,
bikes.
renting bikes and e-bikes. Yeah.
So just being able to kind of elevate staying what they're
direct
doing.
Those sort of things right there.
Right there.
Yep.
But yeah, if they're wanting to like get out fishing, you're going to go to the Destin Harbor.
That's right.
Dolphin
See our boy Travis.
That's right.
I always, when you go to a condo and you're meeting your guests or for whatever reason maybe, and they'll ask you. They always ask me because I'm usually boots on ground checking things out.
Right.
And they'll ask me, well, what's there to do about here? And I see a dad sitting in a chair just like, he just drove 50 million hours to get here. I always throw it out there. I said, if you've never been deep sea fishing, you got to call a friend of the poker game, Travis, over at the Lady M. And you go out so far, your cell phone stops working. And brother, that's magic. It's a
we're the luckiest little fishing village there in Destin. And it has, I think, more fishing boats per capita than any place in Florida. And the fishing out here is amazing. I mean, you got the mahi for sure. You've got the grouper and snapper and just every
redfish,
species.
Tuna a little deeper,
you can really catch some incredible.
We're the closest to the continental shelf drop off in the Gulf of Mexico is Destin.
That's
why it's the world's luckiest fishing.
I did not realize that, Juice.
It's like 32 miles or maybe closer than that. Yeah, if you look at a map, you can see where Choctaw Bay comes out at.
That makes a difference, right? That colder water and fish coming up from it, and that
closest to the whole Gulf is right here.
Wow, that's why
it's the world's luckiest fishing village.
Luckiest fishing village. Holla.
Hey y'all, new customer of TruNorth Pest Control here on the Emerald Coast, Central Florida, Georgia. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they get rid of all the unwanted pests in your house, including termites and mosquitoes. Tell them the jabroni sent you. Back to the show.
Gosh, where were we? What I'd like to actually ask you guys now is, how is it like to work with your spouse?
Yeah, I think it's like any other. I don't know. It's good because we communicate well and because we're a team, like we're working towards the same goal, right?
Right.
Like we know what we are trying to achieve. But it has, as with any workplace, like he will do things in a different way than I would do them. And so to know when to be like, no, we should maybe do it this way, or to just let him do it the way that he wants to do it, right? And vice versa. So learning to kind of stay in our lane in terms of like what we're responsible for within the business,
right?
And support each other to be able to achieve the goal that we want to achieve.
It was the biggest adjustment for me was going from running like a pit of hungry salesmen, to which was like one of my primary functions for the longest time,
right?
To stepping into a different role where I've got it's me and Jill, So it's a very different dynamic,
sure.
And so it was a bit of an adjustment, but a good one because it allowed me to temper where I needed to temper and to focus on areas where I was light, and my skill set and her skill set really complement each other really, really well. The things that she's outstanding at, I'm not as strong at, and vice versa. And so it really meshes together really well, and it's really been fantastic.
Yeah. So Danielle and I have worked together for a long time. We worked together at the sanitation company, and then continue to work together in all of our investment stuff. And so and she does a lot really with the pod behind the scenes. She doesn't want to get on camera, but she's instrumental in helping to make sure certain things are together and design the studio and things of that nature. But it took us, I think, a long time to figure out like how we could adapt. I can remember, especially in sanitation, she tells a story that her dad, her dad was still kind of heavily involved in the business when I started taking it over, of course. But he would sit in an office where she had an office in his house she would go to. And so she was sitting right beside her dad, working beside him. And then while he was there, he might complain about me and say, Jason didn't do this or Jason didn't do that. And then he would call me and say, you need to talk to your wife about X, Y, and Z or this and that. And she pulled him aside and said, Dad, do you want me to get a divorce? Is that what you're gunning for here? Because if you've got a problem with Jason, you need to talk to Jason.
Kid, you're calling him.
Right.
And if you have a problem with me, you need to talk to me.
Yeah.
Not have pinning us against each other.
Yeah.
And so we had to learn to, how do we communicate more effectively? She's so much better about it, but there's still times where I think, I don't respond well or I don't do something right, and that happens.
Yeah,
sure.
I think we were talking about this the other day, and it's like if your relationship and your marriage, you struggle with communication, going into business together is probably not going to
Good call.
be a good thing for y'all. I mean, you have to. And we've been together for a long time. We're high school sweethearts too.
Yeah.
So with 20 years of experience with each other, we know, like, I don't have to say a word. He'll know if I'm upset about something. He doesn't have to say anything. I'll know if he's annoyed about something that I did. And that's just from learned experience, right? But then we walked through how to better communicate with each other. And so, I mean, we were, 14 years into marriage when we launched the business. So like you have a lot of, we have a lot of that past where we've worked out our communications. So we're able to kind of do this together now. And again, I think when you know that you're working towards the same goal, then you're able to kind of navigate those kind of stickier situations.
We have a tip for those of you that may work with your spouse, or maybe it's not even that. Maybe you just get in an argument with your spouse. There is we kind of call it a safe word, which don't worry, we're not talking about like whips and chains and stuff here. But we can get into an argument, and we sometimes forget that we actually have the same goal, whether it's personal or business. We have the same goal, and I have the same thing in heart. And so we both grew up loving the movie Rocky and the Rocky series. And there's one, it's like Rocky 4, I think it is, where no, that's the Russian. I think it's after that, where Tommy the Gun comes into the house. I don't know if you know this Rocky. It's like Rocky 5 or something like that. And he comes in and he takes over his son. Now Rocky's lost all his money, and the son is kind of Rocky takes on this project, and his son is thrown out of his bedroom for this project guy. And long story short, I mean, it's a great movie. They end up fighting. And but his son gets mad at his dad, and he says, "You remember what we used to always say?" He says, "Home team, home team." And so because of that, we'll look at each other, and if a fight's going in a direction where it's just like it's kind of, when it shifts to the direction that we've now lost the communication battle. One of us will fortunately kind of pull the plug by going home team.
I like that.
So get a safe word, get a safe word that can kind of bring it back to zero and be like home team.
Love it.
And that helps to settle it. Doesn't always. Sometimes we have to say home team several times. I said home team.
Abort.
Yeah, exactly. Abort. So yeah, that could be tough. So I do want to introduce, we've kind of skipped over the drink of the day. I've been sipping on this a little bit, so I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. Yeah. This is in honor of Jill Olivarez. So this is the Riesling and it's just called the Relax Riesling. I got this because it was the most expensive Riesling that was cooled at Publix. So, which was only $11.99.
So, only like
how much was it?
We're a $10 podcast, so what do you expect?
This costs
it's
more
very
than a
good.
podcast.
So this is the Relax Riesling. You find at Publix. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
I was wondering why I've been so sleepy.
I think Relax goes really well with the Vacation Rental Podcast.
It does. Relax Riesling. In fact, if you come down here, go to the Publix at Grand Boulevard, tell them JB sent you, and they will charge you the exact same price for that Riesling, $11.99. So you should check it out. But Radiant Resort Properties would love for you to bring that Riesling to their condo and one of the condos and check it out. You can definitely relax with the Relax Riesling. So
I do know in the condos you get tumblers, because every time I shoot him, he's got the tumblers, the Radiant tumblers that come in there.
Oh, and you've got
like
the best koozies around. Bar none, the best koozies around. I pick up a koozie at every festival I go to. The Radiant Resort koozies are an A++ koozie.
Top notch.
You told me the secret is you get it's like the wetsuit koozie.
Yeah, they're neoprene. You pay more for them, but it's worth every penny. And
oh my God, is it not? I mean, I keep a.
They are not.
I actually have. Juice knows I have a drawer in my kitchen that is like. My wife's told me I've got to figure something else out because it's 1,000. Koozies. Yeah. Radiant Resort Property koozies sits on top. It is by far the best. I was traveling at Gasparilla and sent you a picture. Yeah. I threw your Radiant Resort koozie in my book bag to take down to Tampa to see my son.
I showed Jill and I said, I don't know why he's dressed like a pirate, but he got our koozie. So, that's our boy.
Well, because when your son asks you to dress like a pirate with him, you dress like a pirate with him on your 21st. You know what I mean? I went all out, baby. I'll post the picture up with the Radiant koozie.
Please.
And me and a pirate. I'll throw it up on this pod. We'll definitely put it up. It's worth seeing for sure. No, that was good. So now it is time to play Juice. It is time to let the juice loose.
Juice, oh juice, where are you? We're waiting what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Jill, so good. In fact, this is remind everybody again. Year-end tournament champion.
This is getting old. I feel like we need to have like a first quarter champion or something soon because this is getting old. If I've got to listen to this for the whole year, I don't know what. I don't know. We might have to find a new co-host.
It's his first title in like 20 years.
I think it literally
is. Is it your first title? You've never won? What's interesting is that the first year he wins in 15 or 20 years,
there's a trophy.
He brings a trophy out. Nobody's ever gotten a trophy. Juice wins.
He's got a
trophy. I got a bracelet. It turned my wrist green, but I got a bracelet one year, and that was the first year. That was the inaugural year. Yeah,
I did buy this 2 days before the tournament. In all fairness, so.
Didn't you have a belt at one point?
That was a different league.
Yeah, belt would be cool. I've seen the belt would be cool, like a WWE
if we,
belt.
We
or
need
something
to get
like
something that we can pass around because I mean, you
be
get
cool.
something that costs more, but you would need to rotate.
Oh, we could also do like a
Or
belt
we do
where we just do
$30.
whoever's like the champion of the month gets the belt or something. You know, we could do like the point for the month.
I know
or
the
something
problem is
like
everyba's
that.
so inconsistent, though.
Well, that's right. You might lose the belt for 3 months.
We lost it for 3 months. You know,
old Cal Ripken here would win it every month. He doesn't miss a game.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean I win all the time.
I was only a few behind him this year. I played a lot last year myself.
Yeah, you played a ton.
I played a ton too.
All right, so what do you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with?
Oh my goodness, vacation rental management.
Yeah, because that seems to be a headache.
Yeah, and thank you for that softball. I appreciate that.
These are your elf cards.
So say this again. What do I find?
What do you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with?
That's a good question.
Customer service is basically your answer. That's a great answer.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing with Radiant. We've seen so much, right? And there's so many inefficiencies throughout the industry. If you can cut those out, then you can make a very efficient, very outstanding product for your guests and your homeowners alike. And I find it natural. I find it easy. Joe mentioned I wasn't unhappy in previous positions. I was never unhappy in what I was doing. I was unhappy in how we were doing it and things that I was unable to affect. Now we can affect the whole thing, and it shows through. It's wonderful.
Brilliant.
That is good. That is good. Man, I'm not sure. Like, this is kind of stumping me a little bit of what I'm good at.
I would say cooking butts. Steaks.
I'm pretty good at that.
I
do enjoy that. That is down my alley. We're going to have a nice butt for the Super Bowl game tomorrow.
Heck
so
yeah.
I've got 2 of them that I've got to go home and prepare. So I'm excited about that.
This will come out afterwards.
This will come out after the Super Bowl.
I'm going Eagles under, but I mean, because that's what should happen. I don't know if the rest will.
So you're going. You're saying
Eagles under.
Eagles under. Now I heard. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Chiefs are 1.5 favorites.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I say they cover the spread.
The smart money should be Chiefs under. Honestly, that's the least bet.
What's the over under?
48.5.
So you're saying
49.5? 49.5.
I haven't looked after.
So I'll take the Chiefs under.
That's probably
if it happens, I'm going to have a trophy.
Vegas wants that to happen.
Well, I think that's what's
the least bet.
The reason why I want the Eagles to win because they have so many Georgia Bulldogs on their team.
Yeah.
And so I'm for the Eagle Dogs, and I'll be cheering for them. So if my prediction doesn't come true, that's fine. I'm only taking the Chiefs under because I just read an article about how there's some sort of sickness going through the locker room with the Eagles. That's the only reason why I'm taking the Chiefs.
What a
under
coincidence!
Now. Yeah,
I don't believe anything.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It was the vaccines.
Jill, what do you find? What do you find fairly easy that other people struggle with?
I'm a problem solver, so I can see from point A to point B and give you the details. I'm someone who can say, "Here's what you need to do. Go do it." And not so much the implementer.
Yeah.
But like somebody will say, "I'm having this problem." I'm like, "Oh, well, do this, this, and this," and they're like, "Oh." Yeah,
Okay.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Juice, what do we got for you?
I don't know. Building rockets to go to Mars. I'm pretty good at that. No, checking books. No.
Don't say poker.
I'm very good at poker,
Oh,
especially
let's watch
online,
it.
dude. These
Look.
Brazilians suck online. I'm so much better than they
I
are.
had a broken watch one time. It was right twice a day. So Juice got lucky on that tournament.
Photography.
He is pretty good at photography.
Very good.
Yeah.
He's very good at
I mean,
photography.
people ask me all the time about
Sure.
photography, video stuff, so I would have to say that, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say you understand it a little bit better. I mean, the camera stuff, you've had to learn the cameras.
You have to self-teach. I mean, everybody self-teaches herself how to do that. I mean, you go to school for it, I guess, which there's got
to be some master classes out there, too.
There are classes. I mean, I took a photography class in college.
I also think like online would be
like
pretty
Photoshop and stuff, which is honestly a good class to take in general.
Right. My daughter took that in high school, Photoshop.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably more in high school now. Like, I probably took I was in video class in high school. I was on the morning show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, in the late 90s, there wasn't a lot of Photoshop running around. I feel like nowadays it's probably definitely in high school.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, I use that Adobe Premiere to do a lot of
all the
editing
Adobe,
and
the
all
whole
that
Adobe
stuff. The whole Adobe.
Yeah. The realm.
The Adobe realm.
It's a lot.
So, yeah, I always feel like that's the interesting thing, and you guys said it earlier, but if you want change and you want to do something different, the internet is an incredible place to start, right? I mean, you can learn how to do so much through the internet. There's the technology we have and the ability to learn is really at your fingertips. I mean, I think college can be a great place. I think it can be good. There is some learning that can happen. But young people, if college isn't in your cards and you can't afford it, I wouldn't recommend anyone going into massive amounts of debt to get through that when you can learn a lot of this stuff online. Yeah. You can really teach yourself a lot of stuff, for sure.
YouTube University.
Well, some of the most successful entrepreneurs I know didn't go to college. If entrepreneurship's in your world, that doesn't always, it is not, you don't have to go to college to become an entrepreneur, right?
No, yeah.
You had to drive, hard work, problem solving, right?
Put a plan in place and go for it.
That's right. Put a plan in place and start executing, and just know that whatever plan you put in place, you've got to work that plan, and then don't be afraid to change it. Don't be afraid to pivot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I think David went to that Trump University. that online college. Yeah. Did the classes.
Oh, you had to bring that up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you, moving on from that question, how do you balance with work and young children at home?
Oh,
I mean, 10 and 12, which they're getting older, so that's probably every time they're getting older, you get a little bit more confidence. I think you were saying your oldest is watching your youngest right now. They're getting to the age where they can,
a little more self-sufficient.
A little bit more self-sufficient, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
The balance, I'm glad you mentioned the balance, because there was a big imbalance in their early childhood with me. I would go to the office, I'd be there from 7 to 7.
For somebody else.
They wouldn't see me. Exactly. And so that was a big factor in deciding to start Radiant. It was a big decision, a big part of the decision. It's been good because I'm able to be there more for the kids. I see their sporting events. I can pick them up from school, and everything is remote, so you can work from anywhere these days. So you don't have to be chained to a desk in order to achieve your goals and to meet what your business needs are that day. So that balance has been great for me, just right here, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think I'm probably wrong, but I think it's helped Jill in some capacity in having some help with the kids with certain things.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It was all on me when they were younger because he was working 12-hour shifts, right? So if they had daycare, school, or activities, like I had to do all of it. And thankfully, with his flexibility now, I can say, I have to be here with
Can
Peter.
You grab the kids here? Can you do
Will?
this?
Because I only got like 30 minutes. And so that flexibility is great. But I will say, because we do work from home right now, we don't have an office location. Because everything is remote and software apps, right? And so it is a little bit more difficult for Dave when the boys are home, where I've been used to doing that since they were born. They've been with me, so multitasking with them at the house has not been an issue. But he'll be trying to work, and they're acting crazy, and I tune it out at this point. It doesn't even and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll need to quiet down," and I'm like, "They're just being boys." But that's a shift for him. He's used to being in that professional setting. And now we've got kids maybe running through the
house.
Yeah, I'm dealing with that now.
Right.
She's just learned to walk, so she's wanting to hang out in the office all day.
Yeah,
chewing on lines.
Editing my photos,
She's starting to find out what the sockets are, the wall sockets.
Oh, yeah, boy.
But that's...
our kids, because our sanitation company, it was a fairly large sanitation company. I think I told you we were the largest residential hall in the state of Georgia and one of the largest privately held sanitation companies in the Southeast. So we had offices in different locations, but my wife worked out of the house in the basement. And this is Georgia. So we had those red clay basements, and So she just come upstairs and eat lunch with them. She loved it. Now I was always at the office, so I was always there, but she loved the ability to have that flexibility of it. Now, when we sold our business, so I think our son was it's 2009. He's born 2004, so he'd been 5. So I don't even know if I had Sophia yet. So we maybe been pregnant with her, just had Sophia. No, I don't think we would have had her yet. We were getting close, I guess. But yeah, so it was. Most of my kids, they don't remember those days, and so we had much more flexibility. My wife will tell you, though, I've always had the ability to turn the kids off. Like, she's like, do you not hear them screaming?
You got to teach me that ability. I need it. It's so loud. It's so loud.
Wasn't Danielle going to college still when Jackson was born, or she?
Yeah, so she was
law school.
It's her last year of law school when she had Jackson in January. She had Jackson in January of her last semester in law school.
That's crazy.
And then passed the bar.
Yeah,
so, that was crazy.
Tough,
that was crazy. But my wife's like, she sounds, Jill, you sound a lot alike. And my wife's just, if there's anything good that comes out of our family, it is because of her, and I didn't get in the way.
I heard that.
Amen.
I heard that.
Yeah. So that's
hold on.
Brilliant.
So, it sounds like you guys are finding flexibility, though. Do you in this entrepreneurship drive that you're finding flexibility? I mean, the work never stops. It is the one job that you quit to work essentially 24/7. You know.
Right.
However, though, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So, are you finding that flexibility where you have a little bit more time to maybe say we're going to go and do this, or we're going to be with our children a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the day-to-day. I think we're still really restricted, like, in terms of leaving out of town, kind of.
Yeah, well, your busy
properties.
season is when when you want a vacation, right?
Well, when the boys are off, right, in the summer is when we are probably the busiest. So we're not leaving town with the boys.
Right.
We're, like, full-on,
right,
full-time working, right? So we're still, because this is still relatively new. I mean, we're only in year 3, so we're still finding our rhythm in that.
Yep. Yep.
And it just looks like more travel in the late fall, winter time.
I was going to say, like, you just switch it, but that might give you better opportunities for that time, better pricing, quieter,
but
whatever.
Probably shorter trips because they have school and they can only miss so much of it.
That's right.
So
that's right.
But and definitely in the day-to-day, the flexibility is huge. Just being able to pick them up from school, be at their sports, go to different local events together. I used to take all the boys to all the different festivals, but it was just me and the boys, you know. So
but now you gotta drag this guy around.
Now he actually gets to come.
The late fall window being kind of slower time frame for us is great, because one thing that we're doing as a family, we have this time, is we're trying to get to every NFL stadium and go see a game at every NFL stadium.
I was going to bring that up. I see you guys at stadiums all the time.
Yeah, so we do this, and don't get it, you'll see me in Raiders gear. I'm not a Raiders fan. I just, when you go to a home stadium, I just wear
want to blend in.
Of the fans. Yeah,
Paul said, when with the Romans do as the Romans, right?
Yeah, exactly. Win in Rome, right?
Yeah, win in Rome.
And so that's been a really fun experience for all of us. Like we did Vegas this past fall.
Oh my gosh, I want to go. How was that stadium? That is on my. I'm going to go this fall. I've got to plan a trip to go this fall.
Gorgeous stadium. Yeah. Production quality was lacking, honestly, in my opinion. Yeah, some of the stuff they could have done it better. They brought a guy out from a World War II veteran, and
what's wrong with World War II veteran?
No, nothing. But it was like you didn't even. It was like there was no fanfare. It was like they barely even noticed the guy. They just brought him out.
So they brought him out. They didn't do enough production behind how great that was, the greatest generation ever. Yeah.
Let's showcase this man. He got up and walked out here for this.
I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So there was just and that's being nitpicky after seeing 10 stadiums now.
That was our 8th. So
how many teams are in the NFL?
There's 32, but there's 30 stadiums because the New York team shares stadium and the LA teams.
I love that she knows this.
Yeah,
I love awesome. You have trained her well, David.
She plans the trips, so she knows she's doing it.
So we got in the thick of when he was doing all the fantasy football, writing the articles and doing the podcasts, like we were just around it all the time. So the boys and I kind of heard it, and then they were like, we want to have our own team, so they keep their own team. And so at one point, we just said, like, oh, well, this would be fun since we always have players from all the different teams. We don't have we're not located near one team to have a home team that we root for.
Yeah.
So we just try to go to all of the stadiums.
That's
and then
so cool.
It's really turned into fun trips for the 4 of us. for them to create memories. And then also it helps to get them to very different environments, right? Like we live on the
diversity
beach.
is so important,
and
right?
So a lot of these kids are in bigger cities, and so they're getting to see what that is like versus just being in this kind of slower paced.
Like I said, the time
town.
you invest with your children, you will never regret.
Yeah.
I've never regretted. Right, I've never regretted that time that I had away, and even if it's short trips to stadiums or whatever it is, I have never regretted time with my children. I've never regretted that. Yeah. And I always say that the best legacy I'm going to leave this world is them.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about me. They're gonna do incredible things, and
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I love watching what they do. Yeah. I absolutely love watching what they do, good, bad, and ugly. What is your favorite stadium that you've gone to so far?
Ooh, you go first.
Ooh, I think Houston, because we did club level seats. So we also sit in very different places in the stadiums, just depending on when we plan the trip and cost of stadium. Right. But Houston, I picked up club level. It was the first time the boys had been in club level, and they were just like, "Oh my god!"
Did it have like the food behind it and all that stuff? Is like opened up,
and, like, the band inside, and the different entrance that you go in for it, and so that was really fun.
Were there Deshaun Watson massage tables anywhere? Or? I don't know.
Not at that stadium. No, that's Cleveland.
But also,
that's right.
That was also one though where I booked the hotel and didn't really know, but I had booked the hotel that was like directly next to the stadium. So when we checked in, our room faced it, and we got to look at it, and then we just walked a couple of feet. And so that was a really fun experience. And I think my close second is Atlanta.
The Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, that stadium's really nice.
We've been to both of them. We went to the.
You went to the one before the dome, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Benz is pretty nice though. The Benz is. I love how it's opened up on one side. The skylight and all, and
great production quality.
Yeah, and if you get the seats, I don't know if you had the seat. It is great, and if you have the seats down like, I guess lower level in the mid, they have a lower section below the stands that is like the VIP stuff, and it's over the top. It's absolutely over the top. So if you ever get back, I would also encourage you, if you go back, to do that. It's more economical, the soccer.
Yeah.
If you ever have a chance to go and do their soccer, that environment, their soccer stadium, is the closest I've ever seen to European, with the chants and the flags waving and all this stuff. They have a whole section that's the rowdiest fans, and they have these massive flags that are flying everywhere. And they're beating drums and chanting the whole game. I mean, it's pretty cool. They put on a great production for their that's one of the coolest soccer games I've been to, was at the Atlanta.
Yeah,
awesome.
The Benz. That's pretty cool. What about you? What do you
I don't know if mine counts because the boys haven't been there, but they were too young. We went to Mile High years and years ago, and got some good seats there.
Who was the quarterback then?
I'm glad you asked. It was undefeated Peyton Manning.
Oh, wow.
Versus undefeated Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What? That's the game you were at.
Sunday night football.
Yeah, Sunday night.
Wow.
And but this was the year where Peyton Manning couldn't throw it more than 50 yards or 40 yards, whatever it was. It was
like 39,
He had 90 yards passing.
He threw an interception the first play of that Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he did. It was after that season.
Oh, it was after that season.
So after the Legion of Boom.
So his arm really went down then.
after the Legion of Boom from Seattle destroyed them. And that was a historic offense, that Broncos offense that season before. So we went the season after that, and I'm like, oh boy, 90 yards passing, no touchdowns. But the Broncos won, and it was a great time.
Was Champ Bailey still playing then?
No, it wasn't that long.
13-10 or something.
It was like 10-7. It was it was one of those.
But you liked the stadium though.
I really enjoyed it. Jill was, poor thing, she was
so
real
sick.
So
no.
We didn't get any pictures that night. But
you guys have been doing this stadium thing for a while then.
Yeah, well, we got a lot to get through, and we want to try to get as many as we can before the kids get out of the house, and they're always building new ones. So it's like,
I guess so.
The adventure never ends.
Is there any ones getting built right now currently?
Buffalo is right now.
Are they? They broke ground on it and they're building it?
I think I want to go.
One of the Ohio's too about to break ground on one?
Cleveland?
You know better than me. I'm not sure.
Or was it Cleveland or Cincinnati? Yeah, one of them.
I think it'd be Cleveland.
I think it was Cleveland.
I'd love to see SoFi.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to go COVID year. I had the best trip planned.
COVID messed up everything.
Well, you could have went, but it was California. They were like, virtual games. We're just playing.
How do they go again?
Wear a 3 mask. Stupid.
And we love you, California people.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of you probably don't like all of that stuff either.
No,
but,
they don't.
Look, we want you to be
really
healthy. Nobody here is saying not to be healthy.
Yeah, just don't worry.
You got to do. You got to do you, baby.
only
You
need
got to
two
do
masks.
you. Don't listen to Juice. He's been canceled only 5 times on this podcast. but you just got to do
suckers.
you. All right. So this is one of my favorite parts of the show.
We don't get to hit a button?
No buttons. You don't have to hit any buttons. But this is where we call it the Dear Jabroni section of the show. I need like a song for it. So if you want your question answered by the jabronis here, and we have some what do you call it? We're gonna bring you in as short-term jabronis. What is that called? Like when you're
Guest appearance?
guest jabronis, honorary jabronis.
Yes.
Thank you, David.
Okay,
Honorary
got you.
jabronis here with us, Jill and David Olivarez.
Well done.
So we're gonna have them be our guest jabronis. But if you want your questions answered on the show, you need to email us at $10podcast@gmail.com. That's 10. So the number 10, $10podcast@gmail.com. Send us in your questions. We'll do our best to answer your question on the show. And I got this question sent in
And send in
to
a photo
us.
ID
You guys
with
that
the
help
question.
answer this question. It's all anonymous. So we won't tell you who the
Photo ID.
question, who sent in this question or where they're from. This is all anonymous. We're going to do our best to answer your question. You know, look, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I feel like we try to give good answers, but here's the question. $10podcast@gmail.com says, this wrote in and said, Dear Jabronis, my wife and I have been married for a few years. We are talking about kids, but I feel like it is not the right time. She feels like time is ticking away. How will I know that it is the right time to have kids? Good question. Good question. Thanks for
As a
sending it.
female perspective,
Yeah.
it's never the right time.
Ah.
Like a lot
no
of people are like,
kidding.
I want to be financially stable. I want to
Right.
be really set in my career. I want to it's going to disrupt all of that.
Yeah, I agree
So
with you.
just have to know, like, do you want kids? I mean, that's the bit. If you want kids and you're married and you feel like you don't need more time, just the two of you.
Right.
And sometimes, because that does change the dynamic,
It will.
having a kid to
100%.
the dynamic. So that would be a consideration. Are you ready to kind of give up just the two of you? But other than that, there is no perfect time to do it.
You're
just-
totally right, Jill.
just
I was
jump
going to say
right
the
on
same
in.
thing. There is no perfect time. I do think you brought it up. You've got to determine, do you feel like the pair of you have had the opportunities that you feel like you want to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're talking about kids, it sounds like you probably have had that. If that kid conversation's coming up, it sounds like what's holding you back is you're looking for the timing, right? Maybe it is a money thing or a goal thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't make sure that you can get your finances as best as you can, but there is no preparation for having a child. And
No, there's really not.
There's
Have
no
like a small
preparation.
checklist, like you're saying, like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
be at this point financially. Maybe you're waiting to get a new house, whatever it is, but there's really no right time. I mean, I waited 10 years and it just happened.
it still
Yeah,
would just
Yeah, I wanted to wait 5. It was 10, and it happened. You know,
Well, it takes
is
your
what
breath
is.
away. I mean, there's just no. I can remember people telling me the different things that would change when I had a kid, and I was like, man, I know that knucklehead there. I'm gonna. It might have been tough on them.
I think it
you
makes you
know?
better as a person and helps your characteristics. So I'd suggest have it earlier.
Oh yeah,
You know, like I waited till 44, which was probably dumb. Did it probably 3 years in a marriage, not 10. But it is what it is.
No,
So
I
that's
don't know
great
how
you
you
have-
do it. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't imagine like changing a diaper right now. Like I couldn't. do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, but I see it's my first time, so I don't know.
I'm
the difference.
horizontal.
Yeah.
I like to be horizontal like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm 48 years old. Like, can you
Right.
imagine?
At
Like,
least I'm that way.
if I had a kid, like, brother, you do need energy drinks.
I sleep 7 hours a night.
No, it's tough. I mean, you're right. There is no right. Jill, I think you
Yeah.
really nailed the answer there. There's
Yeah,
not a
she
whole
did.
lot.
There's
There's not a whole lot to add to that. There is no right time. You're never going to be ready, but it will be the best thing you ever do, and it will stretch you as a human.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt. Yeah.
I mean, it'll stretch you as a human. You start to really
In a
figure
good
out
way.
that in a good way, 100%.
Yeah, in a
Because
good way.
the biggest.
It might not seem like it, but it's a good
The biggest thing is we all are so selfish, and most people go through life and it's all about them. But when you have a kid, it flips it on its head.
Well, I went through all my 30s without a kid, so I would look at people like I didn't understand. Like David,
It's
David,
always
like,
that
I
way.
can't play. The kids are doing
Right.
Like, whatever, dude. You know. And
why can't you come out every Saturday?
You understand exactly. So it's
right.
Put yourself in their shoes.
No, I play a lot of poker now because my children, my kids are gone. 2 of my kids are out of the house, and then I have 1 left, but she's driving and playing stuff all the time. So Monday nights, like, she's not there anyway. And so Danielle, like, she enjoys her time when it's just her time too. And so we have this flexibility. So I have time to play. I get it why there are others that are, for instance, you can't be there all the time, or Drew, it can't be there all the time. We have other folks that can't.
Well, and specifically the last 3 years in the building.
It's the age range.
Building a business.
And
with the kids transitioning into middle school and all this, and there's so much to it. You know, it's like a bandwidth issue almost.
100%.
Yeah. But I do want to purpose myself. I'm putting it on record right now.
Come on.
I fully intend to play a lot more this year.
Come on, baby.
You do have to have that self-time, right? You do have to have that time away from...
You do.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's kind of like... That's why I love poker, because it's like, I don't do a whole lot during the week, but that's not one night a week.
No, for me it is. It's it's the camaraderie with the guys. I love to win, my competitive nature. I love the negotiation in my hand versus everyone else. Trust me, I love all of that, and it gets those juices flowing. But the time that I enjoy our breaks, I enjoy when I'm throwing my cards away and I'm talking to Dava.
Yeah,
I enjoy those kind of things much
That's
more
better
than everything
the
else.
Money, honestly,
100%.
The people you meet and the connections we've all made. I mean, we worked together now for almost 10 years than other. You know.
Yeah.
So it's
this podcast kind of came out of poker. I mean, you know, really, I was talking about it. We have a lot of poker folks come and
but they're all great, dude. They're all great dudes. They're all
Well, we get a lot of entrepreneurs there, like you said. I mean, good dads, good business people, good family men, and that's so important to have that in it. And man, again, so if you're looking for a vacation rental down here on the coast of Florida, you've got to check out Radiant Resort Properties. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you guys today. Likewise. It has been so much fun getting to know you more, Jill.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You know, it's great. You got to check out RadiantResortProperties.com. Every image you see is going to be this beautiful, mind-blowing resort image because of the photography that was done. But don't forget, though, it is the place and it is the people that you're going to deal with that are going to take care of you. So check them out. They will make sure that you have a magical time on the Emerald Coast. So it's been a lot of fun. We'll have to get you back in again. And
if you're a cool owner with a Gulf front condo, contact them.
Juice keeps telling me he wants to do a poker pod where we sit around the table with like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 of us poker guys and put cameras on each of us and play some hands, play some cards.
I mean, I'll be really quiet, but I'm in.
Yeah,
I think we could do that.
I don't know if we
haven't figured it out. I mean, I have to move everything out of the way and figure that out. But here is
the table's next door, so
yeah, that is true. So here is the section that I like to call "Listen Up, Kids." So listen up, kids. Out there in the real world, there is so many different criteria that can be applied to choosing a spouse. Looks, for sure. You should be attracted to each other. Personality, absolutely. Great banter and overall demeanor is very important. I also want you to look out and to keep this in mind, you need to look for a giver. And you should strive yourself to outmatch that person's giving, because marriage is so great, like where Davo and Jill sit right now here, and they're both givers. And marriage is so great when both people are giving of themselves equally. But hey, do it, don't do it, what the hell do I know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.